The Neverscast, a podcast dedicated to Joss Whedon's new HBO drama, The Nevers. We are your hosts, Heather, Jackie, and Josh. Welcome to The Neverscast. What's up, people? Welcome to episode 2 of The Neverscast. I'm so glad you're here to listen to us today. My name is Josh.
This is Heather.
And this is Jackie. And we're here, and it's a good time.
Indeed.
Yeah, we were pretty excited about our first podcast. We kind of thought it sounded stiff and bad when we recorded it, and it came out sounding pretty good, actually. So
yeah,
pretty pleased with our first effort.
I thought it was hilarious.
We have, I believe, 30.
We are so funny.
We are.
I crack myself up.
I am my biggest fan.
We have, I think, according to Simplecast, 32 whole listeners, which was
wow,
30 more than I expected.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
We also have listeners in Australia, Germany, the UK, and Ireland.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
I know about Australia. I didn't know about Europe.
That's great.
We got like 4 countries today. So once again, we're a small and ambitious podcast dedicated to Joss Whedon. I'm going to do that.
Here we go. The entire run of the show.
I know. That's what I get for having a boyfriend named Josh.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, plus all the other benefits of just, having such a great person.
Anyway.
Dedicated to Joss Whedon's new show on HBO, The Nevers. We are all Whedon superfans, and we said that if he ever did anything for a series again, we would podcast it once we got the bug from our other podcast about horses, but we won't talk about that.
Yes. We are also not affiliated with HBO or Mutant Enemy. We are our own entity.
We are. And we'll talk about the other podcast, which I thought was actually affiliated with the production companies, but we'll get to that in a second. We don't have any set schedule right now. We're just basically producing podcasts, gathering groups of news together and talking about it. We'll probably build up a little... Is there a cat on your lap?
There's a cat on his lap.
No, he's standing on my belly, actually.
Oh, Sam.
And he's perfectly happy to be there.
We'll also get to that in a minute.
Yeah, it's a nice seg.
So, yeah, stay tuned. It'll probably, the drum beat as it'll get louder, and shows will become more in occurrence as we get closer to the show, which we have no release date on yet.
Yeah.
Right.
So, speaking of a cat standing on my man's belly, we want...
Say hi, Sam.
Purr into the microphone.
Yeah.
We wanted to take a break every week and share something personal about each one of us. So this week we decided to talk about our pets because Jackie just got done having a birthday party for one of her cats. So take it away, Jackie.
All right. Well, I have 3 cats, and our youngest cat is Skylar, and she is a calico. She's polydactyl, and she has many, many toes on all her feet. And today is her 3rd birthday.
Yay!
And my husband thought it would be a great idea to have a birthday party for her. He forced her to wear a tiara for about long enough to take a picture,
and survived.
And everybody lived. And then he served all the cats ice cream in little dishes. And all 3 of our cats, we have the other 2 are AJ, who is a dilute tortoiseshell, and Cody, who is a tuxedo. All 3 of them will normally murder you to lick your ice cream. But tonight, we offered them bowls of ice cream and they ran around the house panicking and freaking out and not eating any ice cream at all.
Cats, man.
And that was Skylar's 3rd birthday party.
Well, happy birthday to Skylar, AJ, and Cody, who's really a nihilist hipster trapped in a cat's body.
He is a nihilist hipster. He has the mustache and everything. He needs
a monocle and a top hat.
Yep. He'd wear it. He'd be down with the whole Victorian thing. Tell him I'm calling it now.
I can see a new post for cat cosplay.
Yeah.
Getting put together right now.
Should send them a message.
What are we dressing the cats up as this year? Freddy Krueger? Is that what it is?
Yeah. We're turning Sammy into Freddy Krueger.
That is
we already have
brilliant.
We already have the little outfit with the hat and the glove and the striped sweater, and it's.
I'm so excited for that already.
It's going to be freaking adorable, just like his Beetlejuice pictures were last year.
So Josh and I live together. We have 3 cats as well. We have Sam and Molly, who are brother and sister, and they were adopted from the shelter here called Dumb Friends League. Sammy is possibly the most tractable cat in the world. We think he's part ragdoll because he's so floppy and friendly, and he's like a dog. You can do whatever you want with him. So last year we dressed him as Beetlejuice for Halloween.
It was great.
With the striped cone,
so
the wig,
good.
and everything.
He sort of went viral, too.
He's
kind of.
And he sat there and took it and just...
He's a good sport.
He is.
We also have a calico cat. She lives upstairs because Sammy wants to eat her.
Mm-hmm.
And her name is Callie. And as much as you can touch Sam, you can't even breathe on Callie or you might get a fistful of meow.
Mm-hmm.
But they're good kitties. She was also a rescue from when we lived in Texas.
Yeah.
And she had been stuck in the shelter for a long time. So I was like, I'm an expert cat person, pretty much. So I'll know how to handle this cat. And it's not been bad. She's just, it gets difficult when you have to like handle her, like pill her or take her to the vet.
Yeah.
But otherwise, 3 cats is a lot though.
Yeah, you can't have any more than 3 or they start actively plotting against you, I feel.
No.
The balance of power shifts.
Yeah.
Oh,
right. Hang on. I gotta. Come on. All right.
Are you
Sammy.
decatting?
Yes, I'm trying. All right. Hop down, buddy.
Our other
There
cat, Molly, his sister that we mentioned earlier, is what they call Blue Moon Kitty. She is a orange tabby female.
Yes.
Which is not unheard of, but it's rare.
Yes.
She's beautiful.
She's beautiful.
Jackie and I both used to have horses, but that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
We've traded them in for cats.
Easier in some ways.
Harder to get a saddle on.
Harder to get a saddle on, unless you have the right size saddle.
Unless you're Sam.
Unless you're Sam. He's a saddlebred.
Oh. That was terrible.
No.
Yep.
Boo.
Not cutting it. Not cutting it. Staying in.
Boo. Boo.
So, welcome to the Neverscast, full of horse puns.
Yes. Okay. So, moving on to corrections, and this is a big one.
Yeah.
A really big one.
Because we freaked out yesterday.
So last night we ran around like chickens with our heads cut off because we actually thought HBO retweeted us. But the reality is the people that run the Nevers podcast have a network of things that go with their podcast, and they did it well enough that I didn't figure it out till too late in the game that it's all the stuff that belongs to them. And they told us they told me themselves the podcast wasn't affiliated. And then I started looking at the website and I was like, I think that's theirs too. So I asked them and they said, okay, all that's ours. And I was like, well, sweet. Mm-hmm. So they're just as much as, a fan podcast as we are.
Which is nice.
It is nice. I haven't listened to the podcast episodes because frankly, I didn't want to get their stuff in my head and let it color how we started ours.
Sure.
That being said, it was amazing in the first episode that I listened to today how similar the start-offs are. And maybe that's just because that's how people do podcasts. That's how I've heard them done.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you run the risk of having kind of the same template. But I also thought that even kind of the how we talked about things sounded really similar. So
we're all nerds.
We're
all big nerds.
They had fewer horse puns.
Yes, fewer horse puns. And they also have one of their cast members is in the UK, so he can sneak around and get crash the set and stuff. So I believe on the first one it was Tabs and Taig. I'm not quite sure how to say it. I've been listening, but I'm gonna have to get it right. And Gina.
Yep.
And Kelly. Maybe not Kelly and Dennis, but I haven't listened long enough to get it straight who all is on the podcast full time.
I believe Gina and Dennis were on the second one, and Kelly's or maybe Tabs is. I only listened to the first 2 episodes.
Tabs I know was on the first one because she was the one that said she'd been doing podcasts since like 2006.
Okay, so then I think Dennis and Gina were just on the second one, and the other 2 were on the first.
But we will catch up and we will figure it out because they have reached out to us and they want to cross promote and do some fun things together, like, swap hosts and have a big giant podcast jamboree.
I'm into that.
I think that would be
yeah.
super fun.
Yeah.
So we're in, and we're going to cross promote them and just try and get the word out for the show so that it gets more than one season.
Right?
the Joss Whedon curse, knock on wood.
SaveTheNevers.com.
Yes, let's already start it. Let's start the fan petition now.
Just go get that domain right now.
So we had a little fun with him earlier when we thought it was a David versus Goliath situation, but actually it's just a David versus David situation. So we're expecting a shot over the bow back just for good fun. But I have to say they responded to our ribbing with a Todd Chrisley gif that was hilarious. So
Good-natured ribbing.
Good-natured ribbing. Absolutely. So we look forward to working with them and bringing the work of Whedon to the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good times.
Woohoo.
Do you have a moment to speak about our Lord and Savior, Joss Whedon? Have you heard the good news?
Can we have a moment to talk to you about Firefly? We should do that. Just start showing up and dressed in cosplay at people's doors.
Oh, yeah.
All wearing brown coats.
Do you remember Serenity Valley?
Okay. Enough merriment and glee. So we're taking a break for the news?
Sure.
Yeah, let's take a break and then we'll do some news.
All right.
Stick around.
Yeah. Or else we'll come to your house and evangelize.
That's not true. We don't know where you live. You're listening to the Neverscast. Thank you for joining us.
Okay, everybody, we are back with the news.
All the news that's fit to print.
All the news I could come up with between the minute literally we wrapped the podcast last time. They cast 6 more people. I swear an hour later that alert came out.
That is what happens.
And some humorful news, some examination of an essay by one of the writers. So let's get going.
All right.
As I said, 6 more people were added to the cast. That's part of our main discussion. So these are, in some places, listed as not every episode players, as reoccurring players, not as full cast.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know really what the story is, but we'll get to them in the main subject of the show.
All right. They also announced more head office and crew. I'm not sure I saw that article.
It's not an article. It's just IMDb.
Oh, okay.
And I wasn't going to go down the rabbit hole on that. Just because it's just a more exhaustive list of what we talked about before, but there are like 3 more producers, and they've gotten the set design and the special effects people listed. So, if you
heard they have 3 new gaffers.
Wow.
Yeah, it's impressive.
That is impressive.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're not funny.
He's hilarious.
At any rate, if you want to hop over to IMDb on the Nevers page and hit cast and crew, you'll see a much longer list now of all the people that are involved.
Sweet. All right.
Here, let me give you the link. It's https://www.imdb.com/title/TT869780/full credits/?ref _equals TT_OV_ST_SM. You're welcome.
I wish you all could see my face right now.
You live with them, baby.
I know.
I know.
This
is a blessing.
You did this.
I did not. Your parents did this.
You
don't own me. Okay, now we can go on to
filming. Filming wrapped up on episode 1 in the UK.
Yes.
Yay!
That's very exciting.
That is pretty exciting.
Apparently they shot at Wembley Theatre. They shot at Trinity Church. They shot in the streets of London. There are pictures from our buds over at the Nevers podcast. I don't know if those are images that their UK connection got, but it's pretty interesting.
Hmm.
Lots of set, lots of horses and buggies and costumes, and
Excellent.
it's pretty sweeping, actually.
Good.
Isn't that just what England looks like, though?
Not
I don't think they have horse-drawn carriages everywhere anymore. I think they have upgraded to the internal combustion engine.
Really?
I believe
'Cause, like,
so.
every movie I see, it's swords and jerkins and tights and horses and
I think I don't.
dragons and Emilia Clarke.
There might still be dragons.
Yeah.
baby. That's Ireland.
Oh.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
You're
Don't
right.
mix those up.
Yeah.
That's bad.
We also think we got to look at the series branding,
Mm-hmm.
which is the swag that came out for the cast. Is this official? We don't know, but it was like water bottles and other stuff gifted to people that worked on the show that then put it on social media, which then the pictures got out there. So we shared that on our blog. It looks pretty cool, but we have no way of knowing if that's the final workup.
Yeah. So cool.
Yeah.
And you want to talk about this? Do you want to talk about this Wired article
Yeah.
a little bit, like now?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's also a really good Wired article by Laurie Penny, who's one of the writers on the show, about fandom and fanfic. I read it earlier today. I very much related to it because, the kind of the things she was talking about going through, I was sort of going through, but a little bit of an older phase of my life. And I mean, obviously I didn't end up being a writer, but definitely read a lot of fanfic. I wrote a fanfic story for the X-Files. I still have it.
Did you ever put it up anywhere?
I had it beta read, and they did come back with some good suggestions for me, but at the time I was in grad school, and before I got into my second draft of it, like, that took over my whole life.
Right.
It never really went anywhere. But,
So the Wire article is by Laurie Penny, who is, this is her first TV writing gig, and she was tapped by Joss and pushed forward by Neil Gaiman and some other people because of her feminist writing in England and, as she likes to put it, banging her head against the internet over feminist issues and fighting the alt-right and then, the rise of the neo-Nazi movement and all that kind of stuff, Gamergate, etc. What the story really talks about is how people that cut their teeth on fanfic and other stuff like that, who wanted to see different outcomes in sci-fi and fantasy and other kind of series and writing and comic books, started doing this to assign diversity and these are stories that were written by people who were tired of the status quo in storytelling because there's the article talked about the Joseph Campbell book being handed out and being like, this is really the outline for every single story in Hollywood. This is all that people want to hear.
yeah.
And so it was a really, she broke it down like breaking a story for television, and it just really it affected me. I very much, like you, related to some of the stuff she was talking about, growing up nerdy and kind of having to hide your nerdiness, and even when you're around nerdy people that are so-called nerdy, you're not nerdy enough for them, or you're just so
You're the wrong flavor of nerd, whatever.
Yeah. So, I just thought it was a super, the way that she tied it all together. I thought the writing itself was just amazing. And I got the story from Ella Smith, who is actually a cast member of the Nevers. She shared it on Twitter, and we picked it up. So we'll put the link on the blog, but we also shared it on Facebook. And it's a great read, and I'm really excited to see some of her writing come into the show.
Yeah, I definitely felt way more excited about her in particular after reading that.
Did you read it, Josh?
No, I haven't read it yet.
It's good.
I have not had the opportunity. It's on my list, though. Can we talk about the bird?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about the bird.
Why don't you lead us into the bird?
Okay, I'll lead us into the bird. So, news has come out of the set that a pink cockatoo named Boo was stolen and apparently has not been returned. She's a beautiful bird. We thoughts and prayers, safe return, yada yada. Who steals a bird?
I would say I have a question. Who the hell steals a cockatoo?
How do you even
It's a
prepare
pink
for that?
cockatoo, and it's a $2,000 bird.
They're so loud. It's not like you can sneak them out because they scream.
I got news for you. Somebody did it. Somebody took that bird.
Somebody crazy.
They were shooting in Kent. It was on set, and it's been bird-jacked.
Boo was in a lightweight cage, but the other birds she was with were in different, heavier cages. None of them were taken.
Oh, so they just grabbed the whole cage.
Right. The van wasn't smashed to get in. Maybe someone was watching us because we had been there for a couple of days. So this is a whole, like...
So I have more questions. So these are pet birds, or are these birds that were being used in the shooting?
So
who the hell brings their pet birds to work?
I mean, I work in a dog-friendly office.
Yeah, but you know what? Here's what happens. If you have a bird-friendly office, the first time somebody brings a bird to it, it is no longer a bird-friendly office.
It's a bird-hostile office.
Yes.
So here's the deal. The bird is owned by somebody, but it was loaned out to an animal casting group that kind of...
Okay, that makes more sense.
So what I can't glean is if the people were with the bird or if it was the casting people that were with the bird, but somebody bird-napped Boo.
So we
weird.
here at the Neverscast hope for Boo's safe return.
Yes.
And in other news, we have a new show mascot.
A Moluccan cockatoo?
Her name is Pinky. She's gorgeous. Very friendly.
He's kidding.
I don't know.
Scotland Yard is going to end up on our doorstep going, "Where's the bird?" Actually, they wouldn't say that. That sounds like somebody from New Jersey.
I was going to say that it's not.
We know you have the bird, sir.
That's not the right accent.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Well, it's actually sad. Where is this bird?
That's very sad.
I'd be bummed if it was my bird.
Well, the bird's probably
my bird's going to go be
too.
famous, and then your bird gets stolen.
Bird nap.
There's some considerable pathology behind stealing a cockatoo.
Oh, people will steal anything. They will steal anything. I remember somebody I knew worked at a textile factory, and some people pulled up to the back dock and stole 3 rolls of freaking spandex.
Okay.
3 giant rolls of spandex. And I was just like, why would they do that? They were like, because you could sell it on the black market.
People are maniacs.
So listen, you bird nappers, bring back the bird.
Yeah.
Give us the bird.
And no one gets hurt.
Oh, don't give us the bird. Give the people that own the bird the bird.
Don't give anyone the bird. It's rude. Bad behavior.
Oh, good Lord.
Goodness.
All right. We're going to take a break and we're going to talk about the new castings.
The Neverscast will return after this brief pause. Please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at The Neverscast. Welcome back, everybody. Before we get into more casting news, before the break, we talked about our new show mascot, Pinky, and we were advised during the break for legal reasons that we should not keep the mascot here on location. So Pinky is no longer here in the studio with us. In other news, cockatoo tastes like chicken. Completely unrelated. So there's more cast. They cast more people on the show.
No. Do you want dinner tonight? Knock that off.
He already did. He had cockatoo.
You know, I'm all right.
It's like dad jokes on steroids.
That's right.
This is a joke my father would tell. Oh.
Anyway, cast,
please. All right, we've got 6 more members of the cast that was announced literally after we wrapped recording the last show.
Like right after.
The first one is, and I may butcher this, Kiran Sonia Sawar, who plays Harriet Cower, a young Scottish Sikh. She lives with the orphans, but she has a fiance, it looks like.
Yep.
Optimistic without being naive, and she is determined to live her life as she planned, despite its increasing weirdness. Good for her. I'll go ahead and say I'm not really familiar with anyone that they're talking about that they added. I do know that some of the projects they've been in. Here's another veteran of Black Mirror, and she was also in Brexit, which I think I remember her vaguely from. I actually watched Brexit while I was on the road for my job one night, and it was pretty good.
I've seen a lot of Black Mirror. I feel like when I see these people in action, I'm going to remember who they are.
You're going to be like, oh, I know that person.
Yeah. Okay, and also they've cast Elizabeth Barrington as Lucy Best. Dirt poor, adaptive, and streetwise. There's nothing delicate about her, though she's given up thieving to live with the orphans. Her quick wit and spirits mask the pain of a tragic past.
Yep. She has quite the credit list.
She does.
This is just scratching the surface of stuff that I know is popular, mainly to Americans that she's been in, which is Nanny McPhee, Doctor Who, the newest version of the Tracy Ullman Show, Good Omens, and Sanditon, which is the latest Jane Austen remake.
Serious.
I don't understand. Without going off a complete tangent, Jane died before she finished Sanditon, so I don't even know how they're doing this.
They finish books by people who have died all the time. See also The Wheel of Time.
But I know, but it's Jane Austen,
Yeah.
I've just made a decision.
What's
I'm
that?
going to get on YouTube and I'm going to find. Actually, I probably don't even need to YouTube it. I think we probably own it on Amazon. You know that miniseries version of Pride and Prejudice that you watch twice a year, Heather?
Yes.
Oh, Mr. Bennett! I'm going to find that sound clip, and every time we mention Jane Austen, in the background of this podcast, you're going to hear, "Oh, Mr. Bennett!"
I love it.
Decision made.
Yes.
I hope that BBC doesn't sue you.
It has to be longer than 3 seconds or it's fair use.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Bitchin'.
Things producers know for $200.
I love it. Definitely down with this.
Oh, my lord.
All right, so next on the list, we have Ella Smith, who is going to be playing Desiree Blodgett, a whore.
Horse.
And an increasingly popular one. Her power makes men tell her everything on their minds, and they come away relieved in more than one sense. Ooh-la-la. Unfortunately, what she's heard...
Mr. Bennett!
Unfortunately, what she's heard may get her killed, even though she honestly doesn't listen to most of it. She's devoted to her 6-year-old son, who, bless him, never speaks.
That's got an element of River to it.
It does.
It does, yeah.
Ella Smith is actually, as I mentioned before, the one I got the link for the Laurie Penny Wired article on. She actually is following the other podcast, and when she heard our podcast came up, was like, well, that's enough podcasts.
Oh, no.
I think she meant if there are 2 now, oh my God, right? So I'm really excited to see her work. She was in Call the Midwife, which was a show that I really loved. Cinderella, and there's a movie that's very well regarded that she's in called Ray and Liz. It's an indie, but I encourage you to check it out. Viola Pretty John. Myrtle Hapslich, a middle-class girl rescued from a family who cannot understand her. Literally. I guess she's babbling now. She just doesn't, she's not speaking anything anyone understands. So I guess they threw her in an orphanage. That's kind of them. Where she's everyone's favorite weird little mascot.
Boo.
See, they don't have a bird.
No, they need a bird.
Enough with the bird. It's not funny.
It's hilarious.
Then why are we laughing? I ask you.
Bird-napped bird. So she's going to be speaking in tongues and, not sure what else. She'll probably make sense. It'll be like Cypher or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is her second role. Her first role was a British film called Counterpart.
Oh,
So
wow.
is this a child
Yeah.
actor?
So, well,
Okay.
I think she's 12 or 13, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And then Anna Devlin is playing Primrose Chataway. All 16-year-old Primrose wants is to be a proper, ordinary girl and not take up too much space. Which at 10 feet tall is hard. Most everything
What?
is either dreamy, unfair, or too embarrassing to live through. She is 10 feet tall. I don't know if you guys read any of the Buffy comics after the show ended.
Yeah.
Because there was at least in the beginning of those, Dawn was like
Huge.
giant, huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she slept with the wrong demon or something.
Yeah, something
Yep.
like that.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
That'll do it.
I don't know what they're going to do with this. The
I don't
10
either.
10 feet tall stopped me cold. I was like, what?
Yeah, I read that 2 or 3 times. That's literally
Like,
what's
do they
written
mean
there.
that literally, figuratively? Can she change? What's going on?
I think they mean it literally.
She has a pretty impressive resume for someone so young.
Hmm.
She was in All the Money in the World, the Hannah TV show, and the upcoming remake of The Witches.
Was she the lead in Hannah?
No, she was not Hannah.
Okay.
But, I mean, All the Money in the World, she had to live through Kevin Spacey and them recasting Kevin Spacey,
Oh,
I would
God.
assume.
Mm.
Yeah.
So, last on the list, we have Martin Ford, who is playing Nicholas Purble, a.k.a. Odium. Good name.
Yeah.
The quintessential henchman. Like me. He looks as unpleasant as he smells, a side effect of his rather surprising turn.
Like you.
Like me. I think I found my spirit animal. Will do any kind of work for anybody's money, also like me.
Huh. Is that you, Josh?
I can
So-
neither confirm nor deny.
Mr. Ford has a very interesting backstory.
Oh, really?
He was on the way to being a professional all-star cricket player. And he was injured. Well, not injured. He had some sort of infection that took the better part of like this season that mattered more than anything for him to get well. And by the time he had gotten well and rehabilitated, his chance was over.
Oh, that's
So
sad.
he got into bodybuilding.
Huh.
So he went in, he started doing bodybuilding competitions, and then he ended up in one of the pumping iron, not a pumping iron movie, but something similar.
Yeah.
And from there went into acting. And so now, I mean, if you look at pictures of this guy, he's 6'8", he's 320, he's covered in tattoos, some on his face, super imposing. Like, I thought it was a makeup for one of his roles. It's not.
Wow.
Yeah, this guy is Vince McMahon's wet dream.
Gonna
All right.
presumably scare the
That's-
shit out of everybody in this show.
Yeah, that tracks. He's a big, scary guy.
So that is the new set list for the cast. If they're full time or not, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Well, I hope Martin Ford is full-time, or at least, like, on the show a bunch, because his character actually sounds really interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder who he's gonna work for. Is he gonna work for?
Whoever he wants. He probably works for himself.
It says,
Well,
we'll,
sure.
we'll do any kind of work for anybody's money. Chances are we'll see him in the same circles we see the Beggar King.
Yeah.
I would
which-
think
I thought that too.
I would
Yeah.
think he was gonna get hired by the dude that's working for the crown.
sounds like he's going to get hired by several people, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe he
Hench-
just has a grudge. Who knows?
Henchmen for hire.
I'm super interested in all of these characters, though. I think, in a way, I find their write-ups a little bit better than the write-ups before. They're a little more...
Mm-hmm.
But they're
Yeah, a little more vague.
They're still
Yeah.
not talking about powers, though. I mean, they kind of talk about powers with Desiree Blodgett, that obviously she can entice people into telling her their secrets.
Mm-hmm. And they
it
talked
makes
about the Firestarter character
Yeah.
Yes.
in the last release.
Bonfire?
Yes.
Yeah, but for the most part, they're really staying pretty vague about what everyone's powers are, which tells me that there are going to be like big reveals in the show.
Yeah.
Which is going to be cool. I like going into it with an air of mystery for sure.
But we have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these are orphans. Is that right?
On this list, yes.
Yep.
I don't know if Desiree's an orphan. It doesn't say she is.
She may be eventually.
Harriet, Lucy, Myrtle, and Primrose are. But it doesn't say that Desiree is.
No, maybe she's not.
I don't think Nicholas Purball's an
No, no. You're not allowed to name orphans Odium. It's against the rules.
All right. Any more thoughts about the new castings?
No. I got nothing.
No, yeah, I don't really recognize any of these names. I recognize Martin Ford because I he was in Kingsman, Golden Circle, and playing a henchman. Typecast much, but he,
Well, I mean,
he's a big guy. He's going to be imposing. He's going to look great on camera,
Well, and he's bald and tattooed, and he's just and he's huge. Like, woo!
Yeah, so big. Freaking 6'8".
6'8", and then he's freaking ripped.
Yeah.
Like yoked ripped. Like
dude got swole.
Wow.
This dude's on the protein.
Yeah, so we're just looking forward to hearing more about what's going on. I feel like they've got the cast. They're still shooting. I guess I was poking around, which is how I found the bird news. Trying to figure out where they're shooting, what's going on. They're supposed to, I guess, wrap shooting in February or March.
It's a long shoot time, isn't it?
Well, there was an article, I think it was actually on the HBO Nevers, that's not the HBO site, that talked about how there's reason to believe that they ordered more than 10 episodes from Joss. But
interesting.
Do we know what those reasons are?
I would have to go back and read it, but we can talk about that next time.
Okay.
Okay.
But it's like an open-ended thing, or the shooting time's longer than it should be. I'm not really sure. From the pictures that I saw, it's incredibly complex shooting. It's going to take a while, so that may be it.
Can you imagine how expensive this show is to shoot?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, if you look I believe it's the Bird article on Boo, that one of the people that they talked to, that they got a statement from, states that this show is supposed to be the new Game of Thrones, and that it's this giant epic steampunk adventure, and it's going to be a centerpiece for HBO.
Oh, wow.
They actually said steampunk, and I was like, okay.
Oh, okay.
So what does that mean? Does steampunk, that means more than just Victorian.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That also has an element of futuristic stuff, too.
Yeah, right. Machina and stuff like that. So
yeah.
Could be cool.
Interesting.
Yes, very.
I also find in many cases people misuse the term steampunk. Like in their minds, it's congruent with Victorian era
Yeah,
stuff.
that crossed my mind too. So, it may just be straight up Victorian, but, Joss always, except for Firefly, he dabbles in the supernatural, but Dollhouse wasn't that supernatural. So Firefly, they stayed away from the supernatural on purpose.
Yeah.
But Firefly did have that little bit of steampunk kind of aesthetic sprinkled in. I think that's kind of what brought the world to life, is that it wasn't like 100%. Look, we're in a steampunk universe, and all that implies. It was just enough, just enough to catch the eye and make it interesting.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I really like about the casting in this is Joss has gotten a lot of criticism for it always being all white people.
Mm-hmm.
This is by far the most diverse cast I've seen him do. So
that's a good thing.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Dollhouse was pretty diverse. The dolls were not all white.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I like seeing him taking steps towards, rectifying some of the criticisms he's gotten, whether deserved or not.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, I think
there's nothing wrong with somebody working to be a better person.
It's true.
Well, I don't even know it's so much about it being a better person as it's helping other people that watch your media to see themselves recognized in that media.
Mm-hmm.
That, I think that's part of the problem we have with Gamergate and the alt-right and all that kind of stuff, that they're just so used to seeing the white male protagonist and everybody else is off to the side in support roles. And, these guys grew up with that, and they're super angry when people want to retrofit it or people want to go with a different direction.
The second you're not in the spotlight, it feels like you're being oppressed.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that was one of the things that was referenced in Laurie's thing, is that if your privilege is being challenged, it feels like oppression.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something one of our diversity people, actually our head guy of D&I at my job, has talked about, that you can't convince people sometimes that trying to give them other viewpoints isn't oppressing how they think it should be for them. So, So I mean, it's an uphill battle with privilege. Well, white privilege in general and white male privilege in particular. But I mean, women. But but I was just about to say that women can be they're gatekeepers for it.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, because we benefit from it.
Some of us do, some of us don't. I mean, I think the people that do obviously are the gatekeepers for it.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you reference another property, one of the things I always loved about The Handmaid's Tale, which I've, read so many times, since high school, was, seeing Serena Joy being front and center in the revolution that handed her own oppression and locked her in a cage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's kind of central to this. So, and that's all I have to say about that.
Word.
All right.
Well, should we take one last break and then let the people get on with their day?
Yes.
Sure.
All right. The Neverscast invites you to join us for news, discussion, and more at theneverscast.com.
All right, and we're back. And it's time to say farewell.
It is.
It is.
So sad.
So long.
Farewell.
M.I.C.
No.
No.
Wait,
no.
no.
No, that's
Stop.
not how that goes.
I do that on our other podcast too. And Jackie's like, shut up.
Why are you like this?
So
Why you gotta waste my flavor?
Why you gonna waste my flavor? So closing thoughts, everybody.
Closing thoughts. I'm kind of same place I was. I'm in anticipation, perhaps a little more optimistic, a little less cautious. I'm ready to be hurt again by serialized drama, I feel.
That was a pretty quick recovery.
Well, I had, I haven't really watched anything since Game of Thrones. Like, there's shows I would have had new seasons come out I haven't even touched.
It's time to move on, Jackie.
Since we were stabbed in the front by Game of Thrones.
Right?
Jackie, it's time to get your groove back.
I know. I'm ready. By the time this comes out, it's going to be like another year from now, so I'll be good and ready by then.
Plenty of time. Plenty of time.
My thoughts are, I wish it would hurry up and get here. I am ready to be.
She's really ready to be hurt by
I'm really
serialized
ready to
drama.
Well, I've said the whole time all these, things have been going down and Joss has been off in the Marvel universe being movie guy.
Mm-hmm.
That while all these other series were crashing and burning at the end, I was like, say what you want about Joss, especially after the scandal. Joss knows how to write an ending. Like,
yeah,
this is true.
Even when he got handed two shows that ended early, he knew how to finish them off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, were they perfect? No, but at least they had tangible, believable endings.
Yeah.
Yes, I would agree with that.
And, Firefly got a whole movie to cap it off. So,
Mm-hmm. A really good movie.
Yeah.
And I actually thought, I thought Buffy and Angel, obviously, because they were both short a season, were truncated a little bit in their innings. Angel especially was rushed.
Yeah.
But I thought the ending to Dollhouse was great.
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah.
So I'm not as worried about being stung by the ending as I am about the first season curse. You know what I mean? But I don't think I've ever seen HBO cank a show after a season.
I believe they have.
They canked Rome after 2 or 3 because it was so expensive and it wasn't getting the viewership they needed.
Yeah.
And Carnival was the same way. So
I want to say the Young Pope also didn't last very long.
no, it's got a season coming out.
Oh, it does. All
Really?
right. Another thing I haven't been paying attention to.
I believe so. I watched the first season of that and I was like, this is despicable.
All right.
That's awesome.
Hasn't it been like 10 years since the first season came out?
I know, and here's what I don't understand. Have you seen the lineup they have coming? Where are they going to put Watchmen?
Well, these aren't like, they each run like 10 episodes or something. They can just keep going.
Yeah.
It's not like they're on every single week for the whole year.
Yeah.
It's 10 episodes, and then you wait 18 months.
Yep.
So the cast is getting bigger, which is cool. I like some really interesting character write-ups, and I kind of can't wait to see how it all fits together. Every little bit of news that comes out so far has just kind of made me more excited and ready. Like Heather said, I want it now. That's all.
Yeah.
I'm tired of waiting. I want it now. Now.
Yep. Good luck with that.
Give them their bird back, Josh.
I don't know what you're talking about, Jackie.
Caw, caw. Okay, so the next show, we don't know what the heck it's going to be about. It's all going to be depending on the news cycle. We may have guests from the other podcast, the Nevers podcast on. We may go over to theirs. I would recommend you checking their stuff out at theneverspodcast.com.
Definitely. Good show.
Definitely. It is a good show.
Yep.
I enjoy it.
Yes, and we'll continue.
Kindred spirits and like minds.
Yes, and we will continue to steal news off their page from them because they get it before we do.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
And they've got a UK connection that we're very jealous of. So, otherwise, I don't have much else. I wish I could give you guys more of a structure, but we're not going to have one for a while. I don't think so.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'd agree.
We will be seeing you when we see you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next show might be us sitting around playing kazoos. Who knows?
Could do that. I have a kazoo.
I'm a pretty talented kazooist, I have to say. Not to toot my own horn.
Or kazoo.
Or kazoo.
Oh,
as the
both
case
of you,
may be.
stop. Should
Do
be
a podcast,
ashamed.
she said.
Should be
It'd
ashamed of
fun.
yourselves. This is what happens with my best friend and my boyfriend, husband, whatever.
Significant person.
I know. They gang up on me.
We do.
It's fun.
Fun for the
That's
whole
okay.
family.
I gang up on Jackie with Dave, so it's
She does.
all right. We're gonna go have a birthday party for a cat. We
Come on,
will
they're
see you
getting the-
guys next time. I'm Heather,
I'm Josh.
I'm Jackie.
and you have a good couple of weeks, months, whatever. Bye, everybody.
We'll see
Bye.
you when we see you. Thank you for joining us for the Neverscast with Heather Malone, Jackie Rossi, and Josh Wessner. This episode was written and produced by Heather Malone, produced and engineered by Josh Wessner at 2 Ton Studios, Aurora, Colorado. Follow and share the Neverscast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. For information and sponsorship opportunities, please email theneverscast@gmail.com.